Archangel Michael says, the one who laughed in public has now turned to crying in silence. Their voice shakes, their heart trembles, but no one can hear the sorrow they created for themselves. Because they wronged the wrong soul, yours. They thought your silence was weakness, but it was wisdom waiting for its moment. They believed their deceit would stay hidden forever, but now the walls around them are echoing with guilt. Their eyes burn, not from anger, but from truth they can't wash away. Archangel Michael says, your name carries light that scorches shadows. When they tampered with your peace, they unknowingly tampered with divine order. Now heaven is unfolding consequence in slow, piercing waves. You may not have seen them fall, but they are already on their knees, breaking from inside. Behind the polished smiles and filtered photos is a room where they collapse every night. And in that room, your name is whispered like a sacred regret. Type Amen to get blessing 333. A night came when they tried to sleep, but every blink took them back to your kindness. You gave when they were taking. You stood when they plotted your downfall. Every betrayal they planted is now sprouting thorns in their own garden. The lies they coated in honey have turned bitter in their mouths. Their hands tremble at the phone screen when your name pops up, even if it's not you. What they did wasn't just unfair, it was spiritually illegal. The universe keeps the score. And now the weight they placed on you is crumbling their own shoulders. Type Amen to get blessing 777. Archangel Michael says, they underestimated how chosen you are. Not chosen by man, but by divine flow. And when you are chosen, the universe does not let offenses go unpaid. They wronged someone whose angels have never been silent. You didn't have to raise your voice. Heaven already did it for you. Now, even in gatherings, they feel your presence without you being there. Guilt shadows their laughter. Truth haunts their joy. Type Amen to get blessing 999. They drink from golden cups, but it tastes like shame. They wear designer masks, but inside they are crumbling. All because they wronged the soul that was sent to bless them. You were a mirror, and they smashed it trying to deny their own reflection. But broken mirrors still reflect light. And now, your light pierces the darkest room they sit in. Even the wind feels like it's speaking your name to them. Even silence feels like judgment. Because their tears are the result of seeds they buried in cruelty. Type Amen to get blessing 171. Their punishment is not public, it is personal. Every breath reminds them of the moment they turned against you. Every sunrise feels like a trial they must face again. The weight is heavy because your soul is rare. You did not curse them, but heaven read your tears like prayers. The soul they wronged had roots in the divine. Now they look for distractions but find reminders. They chase noise but are followed by silence that screams louder than thunder. And behind closed doors, they collapse, again and again. Type Amen to get blessing 444. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, this is not revenge. This is balance. The universe moves to restore what was twisted. You didn't fight back because your armor was unseen. And that armor now speaks justice louder than any words. They are not scared of you, they are scared of what your energy is revealing. Their hands once pulled strings, but now those strings are knots they can't untangle. Their plans are ashes. Their smiles are cracked. Type Amen to get blessing 888. They write apologies in their heads, but fear stops their fingers from typing. They want to make things right, but they know your silence is not emptiness, it's protection. Their heart beats hard when your name is spoken. They blame themselves but can't admit it. They regret but can't undo it. Because the one they tried to break is now being built by divine hands. And that's why they cry in silence. Their conscience is their courtroom. And every tear is a verdict. Type Amen to get blessing 123. You walk freely now, not because they stopped, but because heaven started. Started building new doors for you, closing old ones behind. You don't need their apology when you have restoration. You don't need their regret when you have divine rise. The one they mocked is now rising in favor. And their tears are the price. They scroll past your picture, hoping you don't see their pain. But your spirit already knows. The cry behind their doors is not heard by ears, it's felt by your soul. Type Amen to get blessing 656. Archangel Michael says, you were the answer they rejected. Now every question in their life leads back to you. You were peace. They chose chaos. And now chaos is returning to its sender. They sleep on clean sheets but wake up dirty with guilt. Every breath is a replay. Every mirror is a memory. Your soul was medicine, and they threw it away. Now they search every bottle and can't find peace. Because the cure was you. Type Amen to get blessing 1221. When they laughed at your silence, they didn't realize silence holds storms. When they plotted behind your back, they didn't realize angels had already seen. When they walked away, they thought you'd fall. But you rose. Your glow is a testimony. And their silence is confession. Their mind is now their prison, and your name is carved on the wall. Even their blessings now feel cursed. Because they tried to destroy a destiny they didn't understand. And destiny never forgets. Type Amen to get blessing 414. Every smile you wear now is a sword through their denial. Every step you take forward is a shadow pulling them back. Their voice cracks when someone mentions your growth. They study your silence like a textbook, trying to find loopholes of escape. But justice has already written its conclusion. And it ends with your elevation. Their reflection no longer feels like their own. Because guilt changes everything. And behind closed doors, even their own eyes betray them. Type Amen to get blessing 818. Archangel Michael says, your soul didn't ask for war. But heaven declared it. And now you stand on land that was once soaked in your tears. The pain they caused turned into pillars beneath your feet. And the tears they cry now are rivers of realization. Realization that they mistook gold for glass. Your presence lingers in their world like a spirit. Not haunting, but reminding. You were a lesson they tried to skip, and now they are failing in the course of life. Type Amen to get blessing 505. They run from your name but hear it in everything. The song. The wind. Even in their dreams, your voice echoes softly, painfully. They write messages but delete them. They rehearse forgiveness but choke on their own regret. They want to undo what's been done, but the clock doesn't rewind. Now, it is you who is watched in admiration. And them, watched by their own guilt. Their tears are invisible, but heavy. And the silence around them is loud with truth. Type Amen to get blessing 717. The soul they tried to erase now writes its story in golden ink. You were never erased, just elevated. They thought they ended you, but they awakened you. You gave loyalty, and they repaid with betrayal. But now heaven repays you in visibility, in favor, in divine positioning. And them, with echoes of their own actions. Archangel Michael says, "It is done." The chapter of injustice is closed. What begins now is the reward for surviving it. Type Amen to get blessing 1001. You're not just rising, you are being restored with interest. You will be surrounded by those who value what others wasted. And the tears behind their doors will continue, because they touched a soul that heaven guards. They can't escape the echo of your energy. It follows them. Not as punishment, but as reminder. You gave light. They gave shadow. But now the shadow runs from the sun that is you. And your shine is not asking for permission anymore. Type Amen to get blessing 292. Their own spirit wants to confess. Their mind wants to scream the truth they buried. But the damage has been done, and the only thing left is to watch you win. You don't need revenge when restoration is this powerful. You don't need answers when peace is your home now. You don't need their presence when heaven gave you purpose. Let them cry behind closed doors. That is their new reality. You, however, are entering doors that they'll never be invited to again. Type Amen to get blessing 1616. Their tears are not the same as yours once were. Yours were innocent, unprovoked, sacred. Theirs are born from guilt, from shame, from the undeniable awareness that they tried to hurt the wrong soul and lost their own light in the process. They whispered lies in the corners of dark rooms, now they sit in those same corners hoping someone will undo what they started. But what they birthed in darkness is now swallowing their own peace. You were never the victim. They were the ones burying themselves deeper in spiritual debt. Their mind replays your smile like a haunting melody. What once felt like power now feels like poison to them. They treated your love like a game, and now they're trapped in a puzzle they can't solve. Type Amen to get blessing 2333. Every locked door they now sit behind carries the sound of your name echoing through it. Every apology they never gave is a stone in their chest. The more they run from it, the heavier it gets. You didn't strike back because the divine did it for you. You didn't have to scream, the heavens thundered in your favor. You didn't have to punish, they are punishing themselves. Archangel Michael says, heaven didn't just watch, it responded. The same force that watched them mock your peace is now exposing their inner storm. They reached for destruction and now hold it with trembling hands. Type Amen to get blessing 6661. They scroll through photos of you, hoping to feel nothing, but your growth burns. Your happiness is louder than their silence. Your grace is louder than their gossip. They search for new souls to distract their shame, but none compare to the purity you gave so freely. You weren't just someone, they now know you were the one. And they lost the one they were never worthy of. Even their reflection doesn't comfort them anymore. It accuses them. And behind those shut doors, their voice is lost in quiet sobs that only heaven and guilt can hear. Type Amen to get blessing 4544. You don't need to witness their downfall to know it's happening. Just like you didn't need to see their betrayal to feel it in your spirit. Now, your peace is proof enough. What they did to you was meant to destroy, but it ended up being the making of you. And while you rise, they remain shackled to the past they created. A past shaped by their own hands. Now they pray for time to reverse. But time only moves forward, with you, without them. And their punishment isn't loss. It's watching you receive everything they tried to block. Type Amen to get blessing 2828. They thought the worst they could do was walk away. But now they realize the worst was thinking they could ever replace your energy. They wander through people, places, and posts, but no soul touches theirs like yours once did. They cry in their car, at the sink, on their pillow. The weight of what they threw away sits on their chest every day. And no success, no smile, no party quiets that regret. Archangel Michael says, you were a divine favor dressed in human skin. Their rejection was a removal from your journey. And now, the one who thought they left you broken is the one breaking in private. Type Amen to get blessing 5655. They wish they could reach out, but pride keeps them locked in silence. They wish they could say, I'm sorry, but shame steals their voice. They watch from behind the scenes, tears falling into their own chaos. Your glow doesn't hurt them, it heals the parts of them they tried to hide. But healing demands honesty, and they still haven't faced themselves. So they cry, not because of you, but because of what they chose over you. They remember the exact moment they crossed the line. And that moment replays like a horror film in their quiet hours. They thought they'd never look back, but now that's all they do. Type Amen to get blessing 7979. Behind closed doors, they keep your memory in a hidden folder of their heart. They visit it often. They wish they could delete it, but the soul doesn't forget. They regret not protecting the one who was sent to protect them. They regret turning a gift into a ghost. And they regret that now, your silence speaks louder than any closure they could ever give. You didn't vanish. You evolved. And they're still stuck on the version of themselves that tried to sabotage your light. Type Amen to get blessing 9993. Archangel Michael says, this pain they feel is not a curse, it is justice. Not revenge, but reflection. Their tears now baptize the mistakes they refuse to admit. Every door they knocked on has your energy in the handle, reminding them. Every new connection reminds them of the one that was divine. And no matter how far they go, your grace walks just ahead, untouchable. They see signs of you everywhere. The name. The scent. The voice in a dream. Because divine souls leave a mark, not a shadow. Type Amen to get blessing 3030. Their friends don't know why they cry at night. They don't know the torment of loving someone only after breaking them. They don't know that you were never just a moment, you were a destiny. Now they whisper, "I miss you," to empty rooms. But the echo doesn't answer back. Because you've moved from wounded to warrior, and their season in your story has closed. They pray you'll think of them, but the angels have rewritten your focus. And what once was pain, is now power. What once broke you, now built your blessings. Type Amen to get blessing 4747. They are learning the difference between losing someone and destroying something. Divine. You weren't a mistake, they were mistaken. And now their soul pays in tears what they once paid in lies. They traded sacred for selfish. And now their selfishness has become their shackles. The very same things they used to hurt you now surround them. Every night, they meet the ghost of who they could have been, if only they hadn't chosen ego over truth. That ghost doesn't haunt, it teaches. And behind closed doors, those lessons break them open. Type Amen to get blessing 7878. You never needed to curse them. Their own actions became their consequence. You never needed to prove them wrong, your growth screamed louder than words. They wished for silence after hurting you. But now silence is all they have. And in that silence, your name returns, again and again. Archangel Michael says, "You are not the same anymore. You've ascended." And they cry not just for the past, they cry for the future that no longer includes them. Type Amen to get blessing 1111. So let them cry. Let them sob behind curtains and walls. That space is not your concern anymore. Your concern is elevation. Your concern is freedom. Your concern is peace that cannot be traded, touched, or stolen again. Let them sit with the absence of your presence. Let them study every mistake with tear-soaked eyes. Let them feel what it means to lose a divine soul they tried to break. Type Amen to get blessing 2020. Because you are not bitter. You are better. And that, dear soul, is the sweetest justice of all. You loved without limits. You forgave without reason. You stayed longer than your spirit could handle. And yet, they still broke something sacred. Now, heaven guards your peace like royalty. Your soul sits on a throne of survival. And behind closed doors, they cry, not because you hurt them, but because they destroyed the very soul that came to heal them. Type Amen to get blessing 3333. Archangel Michael says, silence is not always peace. In the shadows of the night, behind a door you will never knock on, someone weeps uncontrollably. Their tears are not from grief, but from guilt, a guilt born after realizing they harmed the wrong soul, your soul. The pain they tried to deliver has curved back like a blade that forgot which direction to strike. You were never just another name in their life. You were the divine assignment they failed to honor, and now the universe is demanding the debt of dishonor in full. They remember your eyes now, not with pride, but with shame that burns their chest when they try to breathe freely. Their laughter is gone, replaced by whispers of regret echoing in rooms that once held their cruel conversations about you. They underestimated your spirit, mistook your kindness for weakness, and now they are paying with sleepless nights. They wronged a soul that had divine protection wrapped in silence. You did not strike back, not because you were helpless, but because your revenge was never yours to give. You handed it over to a realm they didn't believe in, and that realm is now answering for you. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, some cries are hidden so deeply they never make it past the pillow. But theirs is loud, desperate, and endless. They have tried to erase you from memory, but they can't escape the ghost of your presence that lingers in every mirror they glance into. They were warned, silently and spiritually, to stop before it went too far. But power makes some people blind, and they used what they had to try to bury what they didn't understand. What they didn't know was, they were trying to bury a soul too sacred to be forgotten. You were born under stars that whispered your purpose long before your feet ever touched this earth. Every move you make holds a ripple they couldn't see, but now they feel it choking them at night. The guilt has turned into fear because they know now, something bigger has taken over. They're remembering the last words they said to you. They're haunted by the moment they saw your eyes and thought you were broken. They didn't know what they saw was transformation beginning. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Their world is no longer as shiny. They walk in public with smiles, but their soul is crumbling like dry leaves beneath unsteady footsteps. The same mouth that cursed you is now calling your name when they pray for relief. They never expected to regret. But they didn't know that touching the soul of a chosen one comes with spiritual consequences that aren't measured in human language. What they tried to ruin became the very foundation of your rise. Your silence was your power. Your patience became their tormentor. They cry not just because they miss you, but because they feel the weight of divine correction pressing down on them like iron chains. They tried to manipulate the truth, but the truth turned into a mirror, and they can't escape what they see now. You were the blessing they laughed at. You were the light they tried to put out with lies. Type Amen to get blessing 888. The door they cry behind is no longer opening. People they trusted have started to slip away, just as they tried to make everyone turn away from you. Now they know the taste of isolation they planned for you. Their own words echo back to them like curses. Every lie they told about you is now being told about them. The karma is exact, cold, and just. There's a knock they hear at night that no one else hears. It's not a person. It's the voice of what they ignored, the truth they buried that has now come back to life. They sit in darkness not because they want to, but because the light now exposes too much. Guilt is their new companion. They can't cry in public, so they cry behind closed doors and pretend the world still respects them. Type Amen to get blessing 969. Your name still has power in their life. They try not to speak it, but when pain hits too deep, they whisper it like a key they wish they hadn't thrown away. They don't deserve your forgiveness. But their soul aches for it. The energy around them is heavy. They can't explain why the joy never lasts anymore. Every celebration feels hollow. Every achievement feels tainted. The people they used to laugh with now speak your name with admiration. They are watching the same soul they betrayed rise higher than they ever imagined. It breaks them in places no human hand can heal. The days are long for them. Every minute is a replay of what they did, and what they lost. And what they lost was you. Type Amen to get blessing 717. Archangel Michael says, this is not just about guilt, it's about spiritual laws being rewritten by divine justice. They tampered with grace and now grace has closed its gates on them. No door opens unless it first closes behind the one they betrayed. They are trying to rebuild, but the foundation is cursed. You were the rock they rejected, and now every step forward cracks beneath them. Their dreams turn into nightmares that feel more real than the life they pretend to live. Their prayers feel empty. They try to speak words of faith, but the energy refuses to move. Something around them is locked, and deep inside, they know exactly why. Your soul is healing. The same person who tried to cause your ruin now kneels in invisible chains of remorse. They never thought they'd beg heaven for mercy, not until they lost the one soul that could have stood beside them with loyalty. Type Amen to get blessing 212. The rooms they once filled with gossip now echo with silence. Their laughter used to be loud when they spoke of you, but now it's replaced with groans in the middle of the night. This is not punishment, it's transformation through consequences. They would give anything to undo what they did. But the clock doesn't tick backward, and time has wrapped your spirit in armor made of gold. You're no longer reachable by the hands that once tried to break you. You've grown. You've stepped into the version of yourself that their jealousy tried to bury. They didn't know the soil they dug for your burial would bloom your resurrection. They watched you walk away thinking you were the loser. But it was you who walked into light, and them who stayed buried in the darkness they created. Type Amen to get blessing 545. There's a letter they will never send, filled with apologies soaked in shame. They wrote it in their heart but can't bring themselves to face your strength. Their pride won't allow it, but their soul cries for it. You appear in their dreams, not as a ghost, but as a reminder of everything pure they turned their back on. You are their greatest regret, and they replay every second of your story like a film they can't pause. They can't speak about you because their voice shakes. People around them see the shift, but no one truly knows how much they cry behind those locked doors. Their world is smaller now, even if their status remains. There is no comfort in the success they chased. They traded loyalty for image, and now the mirror shows them a stranger. Every day is a silent reminder, they wronged the wrong one. Type Amen to get blessing 606. You were the lesson. You were the moment they were meant to honor, but instead they mocked. They didn't see the divine crown placed on your head, glowing softly even in your quietest moments. The pain they tried to plant in you never rooted. You watered yourself with love, and now you are a garden in full bloom. Your growth shames their intentions. They avoid the places you go now. Not because they fear you, but because they fear what your presence exposes in them. You carry peace, and it unsettles their chaos. They pretend to be fine. But their silence is louder than ever. Behind that door, they break every night under the weight of your absence. Type Amen to get blessing 383. Some nights, they hold on to their chest like their heart might run away. They don't even recognize themselves anymore. You were the balance in their story, and without you, their script is collapsing. You were the anchor they unhooked. Now, they drift without direction, hoping some new soul will carry what you carried. But none will, because you were not replaceable. Their regret has a name, yours. And every time someone praises your glow, it slices through them like truth finally finding a voice. Their punishment is not in what they lost, it's in who they became because of it. This was never about revenge. It was about letting the divine handle what you walked away from. And now the divine is handling it fully. Type Amen to get blessing 888. They don't even know how to smile genuinely anymore. Because every joy is haunted by the echo of your name. They cried when they hurt you, but you didn't see it. You weren't meant to. The crying never stopped. It just got quieter, deeper, heavier. It moved from eyes to bones. But their soul remembers you. Not with hatred. Not with anger. But with a pain so deep it clings to them like wet clothes. Type Amen to get blessing 919. You have moved on. They have not. You are glowing in the places they said you'd never reach. They hoped time would heal their guilt. But time has only made it worse. Now, every calendar page is a reminder that you're rising while they're drowning in secrets. They never thought they'd look back. But now the only thing they look at is the trail of tears they've left behind. And all they want is 1 second, 1 glance, 1 chance, to undo the wrong. But you're not there anymore. You've gone beyond the reach of apology. You became something greater, the lesson they can never forget. Type Amen to get blessing 1000.